Do you find yourself, spontaneously, very resentful at someone whom you think is getting something or achieving a reward which you really wanted for yourself? Or are you someone who can't help but feel infuriated at someone you think arrived at a most coveted position rather effortlessly? Do you feel yourself judgmental against someone that they were born into wealth while you had to struggle for every single thing in your life? Do you feel that someone else's good success is robbing you of yours? Let's start with some definitions. Jealousy. What is it? A very powerful emotion that can wreak havoc in one's life if unchecked. The Oxford Dictionary defines being jealous as the feeling of envy at someone else's achievements. There is also another definition to keep in mind. Being jealous can be reflected when one gets fiercely protective. In this regard, jealousy can be healthy or unhealthy. Unhealthy jealousy borders on the dark edge of envy. This stems from insecurity, irrational fear of losing someone or a thing, and a sign of a low self-esteem and emotional insecurity. Now, envy is the feeling of unhappiness and discontentment which arises when one perceives someone else to have something desired or more of a thing one already possesses. Before we proceed, if you find yourself doing any of these, stop. Really stop. The feeling of unhealthy jealousy and the darkness that is envy is you telling the universe that you are less, smaller, incompetent than the envied person. It tells the universe that the person you are so jealous of is more than you in every way. Do you realize what you are doing? You are perpetuating the perspective that you are small, and this reinforces the types of experiences life throws at you. How do you know if you are unhealthily jealous or envious? The emotion of envy is evident in the following ways. Pay attention and try to identify if any of these applies to you. Number 1. You may be unhealthily jealous if you notice that you constantly compare your life to that of others. You feel you are lacking what the other has. You have a mindset of scarcity, that you are in lack, and that you are in a crippling deficiency. You find it extremely difficult to celebrate a colleague or a partner who is successful. Number 2. You may have unrealistic expectations. This can make you extremely discontent and cause you to repeatedly feel anxious and worry about the actions of others, their verbal and nonverbal communications. You become severely emotionally insecure to the point that, if unmanaged, can lead to destructive thoughts against the envied. Number 3. You may be envious when you experience unbridled sadness at yourself and despise yourself so much to the point of calling yourself negative terms and names and repeating phrases such as, "You are not good enough." For instance, let's create an imaginary person called Mr. A. So, you feel Mr. A had a normal childhood with loving parents, and you did not. You proceed to gravely resent Mr. A whenever you see him, to the point of developing harmful thoughts against Mr. A. Check within you to see if you have ever experienced this, and put a stop to it instantly. Number 4. You may be jealous if you have an unceasing eagerness to tear someone down, publicly degrade them, and regularly attempt to smear their self-esteem. This feeling to hurt another paralyzes you to the point you become unreasonable to others. Number 5. You may be jealous if you suddenly notice that you resent a person anytime they come within your sight, especially if they have something you think you clearly lack. You develop an uncontrollable dislike and feel so bitter about this person because they possess certain opportunities you did not have handed to you. Before we continue, remember to click the like button, share this video with friends, and with anyone you know who might need to watch and listen to this. Now, moving on. On the other hand, a healthy form of jealousy can make you healthily protective of your children, your loved ones, your prized possessions and accomplishments. You care for your loved ones with love and respect, and let them freely attain their personal growths to their fullest potential. In this case, you are able to laugh about your jealous feelings and easily communicate them clearly. This love is freeing. It is not incapacitating, as you would find in envy or in an unhealthy form of jealousy. However, do not mistake obsession for love. That is a whole other subject. Obsession is incapacitating, controlling, with hidden coats of envy. Dangers of the negative feelings of envy and unhealthy jealousy. Danger number 1. The feeling of unhealthy jealousy, if unrestrained, can lead you to overindulge in certain negative practices that range from excessive drinking to overeating, to mention but a few. And this is due to being preoccupied in anger or self-loathe in your effort to douse the burning feeling of jealousy that you feel. You end up also losing self-confidence. Danger number 2. The intense feeling of envy can cause you intense stress and societal withdrawal, which negatively impacts your mental health. You develop a myriad of unhealthy thoughts against others. You convince yourself of a negative conclusion, when in reality, the opposite is the case. Danger number 3. Unchecked unhealthy jealousy can lead you to neglect your personal care, which can throw you into the valley of dejectedness and a profound feeling of unhappiness and immense self-dissatisfaction. You lose focus at work, you experience difficulty concentrating on your tasks. This can result in a deluge of poor choices that border on mental health concerns and self-harm. Danger number 4. Unidentified feelings of envy can cause you to spawn resentment against a partner or friend, which eventually destroys the relationship. You magnify the lack in your life, completely obscuring the abundance that is evident. These negative feelings are foundations for unending and irrelevant conflicts that strain a relationship. Be quick to recognize that the feeling of envy is an enormous sign that something is off in your relationship and needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Danger number 5. You develop a strange feeling of resentment when your partner or colleague or friend is exuding consistent happiness and is being completely carefree. You misinterpret their easygoing character quality for a twisted imaginary flaw. A good example here is where the man grabs the arm of a young lady and yanks her away because she was having a conversation with another man. How are you doing so far? Do you recognize some of these in yourself or in others around you? Share your experiences in the comments section below, and let others gain more insight into the various forms these can happen. Now let's continue. Alright, let's delve into safe and healthy ways which the problem of unhealthy jealousy and envy can be gotten rid of and eradicated. Steps to transforming and mitigating the feeling of unhealthy jealousy and envy. Transformative tip number 1. Identify the feeling of jealousy. Become truly aware of what you are doing. Recognize the signs in your actions and nonverbal communications. Acknowledge that it is something you want to change. Take a step back and reflect on why you are really feeling that way. Transformative tip number 2. Mindset shift. Admit that you are not perfect. Accept that no one is perfect. Even the person you envy or are unhealthily jealous of is not perfect either. Come to this understanding, and your mind will be illuminated and uplifted. It takes constant, intentional practice to make it a habit. Set healthy boundaries by understanding your own limits. No one has it all. Identify your limits and let that be your guide for a more fulfilling and satisfying life. Extricate yourself from negative and pessimistic circles and groups. A positive self-esteem and trust are crucial for a thriving relationship. Transformative tip number 3. Develop the practice of gratitude. Be thankful. Be thankful that you are able to see the successes of others, which means such successes are very possible and can be replicated and realized in your life too. Spend some time in nature. Appreciate the beautiful greenery, the lovely landscapes, the fresh air, and the chirping birds. Let these take your minds off the negative feeling of envy and unhealthy jealousy. Be consistent with these until you have mastered the art of gratitude and made it a part of your daily life. How are you doing so far? I am sure you have some experiences you would like to share. Leave them in the comments below, and let us all have a constructive conversation on this subject in the comments section. Very well then, continuing on the tips to mitigate and transform the feeling of unhealthy jealousy and eliminating envy. Transformative tip number 4. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself and give yourself some grace. Do not allow any form of a perceived inadequacy to lead you to become resentful and extremely bitter at someone else who may have what you need. This takes conscious practice. Be deliberate and intentional as you live daily, and subdue and ultimately eliminate the unhealthy feeling of envy. Look at this example. A Ms. Jane Doe might be a great soprano vocalist. Or a Mr. John Doe may be a very successful architect. And unfortunately, you compare yourself and believe that you are not any of these. Forgetting that everyone is uniquely gifted. With this in mind, resist the uncanny feeling of envy which may try to rear its ugly head in you. Declare to yourself that you are worthy and that you are chosen to exist today, right now on this earth. Many others no longer have this privilege, and it is due to no fault of theirs. Count your own successes. There are certainly wins you have had in your life. Focus on those instead, and continually build on such wins. Transformative tip number 5. Communicate. Communicate openly and honestly with your partner or family or a good friend. Express your concerns and seek to work together to address the negative feeling you are experiencing. If you feel you are unable to address this negative feeling on your own, seek professional help from licensed therapists and let them guide you to unraveling the true reasons why you are experiencing unhealthy jealousy and the underlying causes of the envy you manifest. Jealousy is an enormous emotion which can make or break any life. It is of utmost importance that you recognize the signs and be aware of the dangers and devastations it can cause in your life. The outcome you get depends on what you do with the feeling of jealousy. Are you able to turn it around and use it for motivation to strive to be better? Do you switch it around and instead turn it into an intentional reminder for appreciation in your heart and of gratitude for the other person whom you think has it better than you? Remember this phrase, you become what you behold. Celebrate with others when they do. See what positive lessons you can glean from their stories and apply them to enhance your personal growth. You are valuable just as you are. You are improving. You are getting better every single day. Take these into consideration as you work on yourself. I wish you good health.